Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents Yard and Broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents Yard and Broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents Yard and Broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents Yard and Broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents Yard and Broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents Yard and Broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents Yard and Broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents Yard and Broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va. No upper echelon. Nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica. Make we talk. Make we talk.
Good evening, We're listening, watching from around the world and the Eastern Caribbean. Welcome to the edition of the Make We Talk program with your host, Jeffrey Tavares. I want to say good evening to everyone in the chat room. For those who are just joining us, welcome to the program. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to know when we go live. Let's hit the bell icon to know when we go live. Election 2025. Jamaica is in election fever. The date of the general election has been announced. Nomination day will be on August 18th. Election day on September 3rd. So we're all gearing up for election. This evening, I want to speak to Member of Parliament for St. Catherine Southern, none other than Mr. Fitz himself. He will be my special guest this evening. He will be coming on at 8 o'clock our time, that's 7 o'clock Jamaica time. He'll be my special guest on the Make We Talk program. We decided to start the program a little bit early this evening because we need to speak to you, the Jamaican people. When I say I want to speak to you, the Jamaican people, it's because good evening, walking in divine purpose, is because we need to take a look into ourselves. And when I say that, it's because we're in an era where the election, the date has been called, the nomination date has been called also. And it's for us now, the people, to make the right decision. It's for us now, the people, to gather the troops in our households and go out and exercise your right to vote. Do not stay home. Hi, Drone, how you doing? Do not stay home and say you're not going to vote. It makes absolutely no sense. So as I say to you this evening, I have some videos to play. Do not stay home. Let no one pay you to stay home. Let no one pay you to vote. Your vote is not for sale. It is your constitutional right to vote in this democracy. And my fellow Jamaicans, do not let no one tell you to stay home. Let no one pay you to stay home. Do not let when everything is over and done with, you're going to say, boy, if me didn't know, don't let that come out of your mouth. Do not let that come out of your mouth at all. Take up the baton, go out there and vote. Vote as if your life depends on it. Vote as if there is no tomorrow. It's only one time you can vote. But vote. Vote. Vote against corruption in this country. Vote against the $1.2 billion, $1.4 billion school bus saga. Scandal after scandal in this country. $3 trillion unaccountable for. Until now, you can't hear nothing about burial relief funds. So many money missing during the pandemic. So many money gone down the drain in this country. And it begs to ask the question, will the people of this country get justice? Will the people of Jamaica ever get justice for the mismanagement of the country's resources? Where they sell left, right, and center. As I keep on saying on this program, you know, If it was some other modern democracy, there will be an investigation launched into the $1.4 billion bus saga scandal. And the minister himself would have to excuse himself until the investigation is finished. But this is to show you that these people who rule this country do not have any respect for the rule of law or respect for the Jamaican people. It's for all of us in this nation. We're all Jamaicans. We're not born this and born that. We are Jamaicans. And this piece of rock should come first for all of us. Let no one pay you, my fellow Jamaicans, to vote for them. If you get the money, take it. But vote for what you believe in. Vote for a better Jamaica. We're 63 years old. And majority of us don't have water in our pipe. We're 63 years old. And majority of us can't even walk on a proper road. Or we use a donkey or a bicycle. We're 63 years old. A majority of our fellow Jamaicans have been laying on cardboard in an hospital. We're 63 years old. And we're still standing in the sun to renew or to apply for a passport in this country. We're 63 years old. And we have to stand in the sun to get PART program money. I am being told that the PART program right now, people are getting $2,000. What the dickens can $2,000 buy? What can $2,000 buy? It was $6,000, I got $2,000 for what? And I'm being told also, I am being told also that they're taking people TRN and ID and giving them $20,000 and says PART program money you're getting, figure vote. Now I have been calling on Minister of Labor and Social Security, Pernell Charles Jr. Last night I heard him make a hell of a throne speech. Pure lies. You know the amount of Jamaicans in this country, God bless the pension they get, and Jamaicans overseas can't get their pensions, and Jamaicans in Jamaica can't get their pension. And when you speak about these things, your fellow Jamaicans come over and go, you're dirty comrade or you're dirty labor right. These are the reality. These are the reality that many of our Jamaican people face. We face the reality of can't even afford a bread, can't even afford a tin mackerel. We face the reality at 63 years old. We don't have water in our pipes. We face the reality at 63 years old. We can't even afford basic health care in this country. We face the reality at 63 years old. Majority of us have a roof over our heads. This is what we face in this country. This is what we face in this country. And all of us must speak out. We check our birth certificate, it don't say PNP or JLP or UIC or NDM. It says Jamaica. And if we believe in this country, if we believe that there can be a better Jamaica, then when the time comes on September 3rd, go out there and exercise your right to vote. Vote for what you believe in. Vote for this country. We cannot continue like this as a people. We cannot. And so, my fellow Jamaicans, let us come together as one people, as one nation, and send a clear message that we will not sit down anymore with a corrupt administration. We will not sit down anymore with a minister of transportation cannot give us the true figure of how much he pays for those school buses. Let us send a clear message that we will not surrender to any political persons who believe that they own this country. We own this piece of rock. We own this piece of rock. We must show them that we own this piece of rock. And we must call them out. We must hold them accountable. How can we, as a people, see what is going on in this country? And how can we leave a better Jamaica for children, if we sit down and say nothing, all because we are a die-hearted this and die-hearted that? When will we be a die-hearted Jamaican? When will we say, I am a die-hearted Jamaican? When will we say, I born out of my mother, a die-hearted Jamaican? When? We live in a nation where our people suffered or are still suffering under the political elite of this nation. For politicians to be calling us dunce, dark, and stupid, that's Darrell Vaz. We the people pay him. We the people put him there. But yet, we sit down in this country and all we can hear, go where you're dirty this and you're dirty that. We don't speak about issues in this country. How on earth can you take up $1.4 billion of taxpayers' money to spend in a rural school bus system? Let me make it clear. I am not against the rural school bus system, you know. What I'm against is the way how you go and buy these old buses. These old buses. You could have bought brand new buses. You bought brand new garbage trucks. Why couldn't you bought brand new buses for this country? For children. That's what we're speaking about. We're not against the rural school bus system. It's a good system. We welcome it. But the way how you go about doing it, Darrell Vaz, is wrong. And you cannot come and tell the people of this country how you spend $1.4 billion of taxpayers' money. You can't. And when you speak the truth in this country, your fellow Jamaicans hug up the corruption in this country. Hug up the nepotism and the cronyism. Because you mustn't speak because it's their party in power and their friends. And leave their minister alone and leave the MP alone, leave the prime minister alone. Is everybody prime minister? Lest you forget, he's every single one of us prime minister, and we have a right to speak. We need to stand for what we believe in. And if you believe in a Jamaica, then stand up for this piece of rock. If you truly believe in this nation, if you truly believe that we can leave a place, a better Jamaica for our children, then let us stand for this piece of rock. If you truly believe. If you truly believe in it. And for those who want to label this program a Labour Party program or a PNP program, so be it. I really don't care. And let me make something clear. The election is called. And if the People's National Party gains state power, don't bother think it's going to be a honeymoon. Because anybody within the People's National Party who believe that they can treat the people of this country the way how this administration treat the people, you make a sad mistake. Because I'll be coming out there and speaking about it. Let's go back to this. Part program money. The part program was $6,000 every month or every other month. I can't remember. And now I'm being told that people are only getting $2,000. What can $2,000 buy in this country? We're doing our research to find out if this is true. And it's more than one people here with it. Every 2 months, thank you. What can $2,200 do every 2 months? While $1.4 billion of taxpayers' money gone like a Sammy mouth in a so-called rural school bus services are in initiative. Huh? Huh? You are giving people of this country $2,200 every 2 months. And you expect that is something good? You expect that is something wonderful? And you people on a political platform bragging and boasting about it? When will we, the people of this country, emancipate ourselves from mental slavery and stand up in this country and let these people know that we run things and them run things? That is why I'm saying to you, let election day be the day that you decide the future of this country. Let September 3rd, 2025, Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025, let that day be the defining moment in your life where you stand up for a better Jamaica, where you stand up and say no more to nepotism, no more to cronyism, no more to corruption. Don't think that is the political party going to change this nation. We, the people, must change this country. As what the former president of the United States said in his campaign speech, yes, we can. Yes, we can for a better Jamaica. Yes, we can stand up against nepotism and cronyism. Yes, we can stand up against corruption. Yes, we can stand up against the bullyism and those who believe that they own this piece of rock. Yes, we can, Jamaicans. And all of us, every single one of us, have a part to play in this country. It doesn't matter what political persuasion you're from. We are Jamaicans. And you have some people coming on platforms and describing the fellow Jamaicans as dirty and this and that. We're all Jamaicans. Don't let the politics divide us. In case you don't know, politicians may go on political platforms and throw at each other, but behind closed doors, they're friends. Do not let that when we're all gone, our children can say, my God, our foreparents didn't do a damn thing for us. Let it be said that at this defining moment in our lives and in our history, that our foreparents fought for this piece of rock, just like our Nanny of the Maroon, Paul Bogle, Sam Sharp, and all the rest of them who has gone on before. They have stand up for this piece of rock. They fought for this piece of rock. They fought for our freedom that we can vote. They fought that we can go out there and vote. And so I say to you, all Jamaicans, from Negril Point to Moran Point, for those in the diaspora, let us vote for a better Jamaica. Let us vote for a nation that when we're all gone, our children can say, yes, my father and my mother, my uncle and my brothers, they fought for this country. For far too long, we hug up the corruptions of politicians in this country. For far too long, we allow them to lie to us and tell us all sorts of lies. The Prime Minister lied to the Jamaican people last night by saying that JUTC have billions of dollars in savings. That's a lie from the pit of hell, and the Prime Minister knows that. The Prime Minister is aware of that. He knows that. But because he knows that majority of Jamaicans will not read the paper or Google it and find out, so he went on the political platform and he spewed pure lies, just like how Daryl Vaz spewed pure lies on the platform last night. And people gonna come and say, oh, you're a dirty comrade, that's why you attack, so. No, the truth is the truth. Daryl Vaz and the Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade and Juliet Cuthbert Flynn spew pure lies on the platform last night. Not to mention Christopher Tufton. All a bunch of liars. They cannot be trusted with the truth because they don't speak the truth to the people of this country. When will we hold these people accountable? When will we, the people of this country, speak out and say, yes, the Prime Minister is not certified, so he should not be on the ballot for this election? When will we stand up in this country and say those things? When will we stand up in this country and say, no, man, there's no way you can spend $1.4 billion on a school bus system, or 100 and something school bus. We need some accountability. Take away yourself. We, the people, can order an investigation in it. But we did not do so. What we did was to hug it up. We hug it up left, right, and center. We must stand up for this piece of rock. And we have the ability to do so. We have the ability to stand up for what we believe in. When Paul Bogle marched from Morant Bay to Stony Gut, he stand up for the Jamaican people. He was standing up for this piece of rock. And he died for this piece of rock. And he told them that he will not give up, he will not surrender. We must not surrender and we must not give up. Jamaica belongs to Jamaicans. And this piece of rock has been sold out from 1962 until now, bit by bit, block by block, steel by steel, callous hand by callous hand. This country has been sold out. We don't own nothing in this country because we allow those who we put there to sell this piece of rock bit by bit. We allow them to sell beachfront land in St. Anne's to their friends and cronies. We allow them to buy we allow them to buy Blue Lagoon. Yet we don't question where they get the money from. We allow them to invest in SSL. And when the time comes to take out their money, yet other people's money went down the drain in SSL. So is it with withholding and cash plus. When will we as a people stand up? When will we as a people say enough is enough? When? When will we as Jamaicans speak out and stop branding our one another, our fellow citizens as dirty laborers and dirty comrades? When will we speak out in one voice and one accord as a people who believe in this country? When? As I often said to you all, Jamaica lies in your hands. Jamaica lies in your hands, Jamaicans. You have the capability to change this piece of rock. It may not take today. You can't do it in 1 year or in 1 term. But we must have a start. The soul of Jamaica's democracy relies on we, the people of this country. We, the people. Not we, the favorite few. We, the Jamaican people. This we have. We have our country in our hands. So many people love this nation from around the globe. So many people will stand up for this nation around the globe who are not Jamaicans. So what the hell is wrong with us as Jamaicans? Why can't we stand for this piece of rock? Why can't we say to those who believe that they own this piece of rock that we will not stand with you anymore? That we will not stand with you with the corruption in this country. Everywhere you turn, you hear of this and you hear of that. It hurts to know that this nation was once the gem of the Caribbean. Where every other Caribbean country stood up and respect this nation. I remember I had a conversation on the same platform here with former Jamaican ambassador Aluma Samba. And she said that she knows that many times when they go to big official meetings and they had some vote to go on, other countries' prime minister or other countries' diplomats will come and say to her, Ambassador, what way is Jamaica voting? And if Jamaica is voting this way, they vote that way with Jamaica. No one respects us anymore. The Caribbean countries can come take us for a laughing stock. When we have our students stuck in Ukraine, other countries were paying to get their students out. We have the audacity and the temerity to tell our students they must borrow money. We're going to give them a loan to come home. It is the sole duty of any government that form in this country, Jamaica, to bring their people who are in harm's way, bring them home. You know how it would be good if we had Air Jamaica? Huh? The students could, the airline could fly to Germany and they pick them up in Germany and bring them home. But we sell everything in this country. We sell Air Jamaica. We sell this, we sell that, we sell everything. All in the name of politics. And we laugh because our boss, the politician, and them run things, And we say, what boss, give us something, a boss? Forgetting that we pay them. Forgetting that they are our servants. We're not their servants. But you know, until we start respect ourselves, and until we start believing in this piece of rock that we say we solely love, until we start believing in a Jamaica that can change for our children, then I'm sorry, we'll never come the way we want to become. We must believe in this piece of rock. And so on election day, September 3rd, 2025, Jamaicans, let your voice be heard. Jamaicans, get up off your laurels and go out there and vote. Jamaicans, your vote is not for sale. Jamaicans, do not stay home. If you stay home at this tipping point in our nation history, you're going to regret the day you stay home. I am asking you, I am beseeching you with every fiber of my being, please, Jamaicans, get up and vote. Go out there and vote. I don't care who you want to vote for. It's not for me to tell you who to vote for. How dare me? All I can do is encouraging you to go out there and vote. It is now 7:41, 6:41 in the land of wood and water. At 7 o'clock Jamaica time, 8 o'clock US time, my special guest will be the Member of Parliament for St. Catherine Southern, the Honorable Fitz from the People's National Party will be my special guest tonight. Along with Head Boy is going to come on. But before they come on, we need to play some videos because election was announced last night. And we hold on for me. We had the election announced last night from the Prime Minister of this country. Whether we want to believe it, he's everybody's Prime Minister. Many of us don't like the idea, but he governs this country. You may not respect the individual, but we have to respect the office. The office of Prime Minister is for us, the people of this country. And we have to respect it. Let me say something to Jamaicans and other people here in Florida, that we're in hurricane season and we need to gear ourselves for hurricane. We need to gear up for this hurricane season. We need to gear up for this hurricane season. Hold on for me, please. I don't know who this person is. Hold on, please. Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Jeffrey.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Blessings, man. Blessing to the world.
Yes, my brother. How are you doing?
Yeah. May I look on? We see the world thing, and we have to accept the reality, because that's how we can start. I can heal and to make any action to repair or fix anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to accept the reality. That's the first thing. So last night, me personally, say one bag of light. Yeah.
Indeed.
Pure life. The Prime Minister even started talk about Singapore, and then by the time him start to make the next sentence, him have to just stop. Yeah? So me say, my conclusion is that we don't have a government from 2016. Yeah? Had we have a government, then we don't have proper policy, we then continue from where the other government left off and support. So we would like demolish some of the program them. Yeah, the maintenance of institution. Yeah, you have like things on the bill, like when the school bus them was supposed to purchase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from 20, them accumulate the money in 2017, 200 million. You know, hear not more about it.
There you go. And we must ask the question. On the rural region, Grace McLean, $200 million was spent. Where's that $200 million? Where is the separator?
Yeah, missing. So the next point for me, I say now, the PNP, I don't know. If how do we have, just like Andrew owned it in 2015, one of the most potent opposition leader. When I say potent, it's like nobody can miss a step. So how do we have powerful? We see one time when they have a problem in the PNP, we put it back the party together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but how do we have an efficient opposition party? Then this government would get the chance or the space, you know, the perimeter, you know, to do all these, to behave in other ways. You understand? But it's like even the PNP, them complicit in the thing with the JLP, them do. Them now say nothing. Them not say we did have a school bus system, mention all of that, and say what about the money that is missing? Them not help when me say the Auditor General and Commander Wally for oppression. When I see a real defense put out for the Auditor General and say, look, nation, this is what happened. This is the word that's there. Because most people that you believe should have known, you know, in the society don't know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because we strategically destroy the education system to increase in support for the government party.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so the more dunce people we have in Jamaica, the more the government can have a grip and power. Yeah, in the future.
Mm-hmm.
The more you educate the people, the more they realize that a lot of foolishness happen, and the more they reject the government when it come with the crap. Yes, so the government strategically, to me, destroy the education system. When me say how them negotiate, me say that this is no real negotiation with the civil servant. Because the first time when them negotiate with the teacher about 2 months after, them say, listen, we don't have no money, we only can hear that. Then after that, them take the raise. Them know say the whole psyche of the teacher, it all just explode. The teacher, them all upset and say, you know, take with a fool. So when September morning come, 400 odd teacher gone September morning, the teacher them leave. Who they want to leave, just leave because them upset. So you personally, psychologically, yeah, upset them for them leave. This again, you tell them, the civil servants, so they want how much percent? 15. You say you're going to them 0% in a year one. Wage freeze too, you know. And you know, do nothing for wage freeze. You don't have a contract. In a negotiation, yeah, me I watch it from PJ time. Social contract. where you'd have a negotiation. The state would have a negotiation with the civil servant. So we still said it to the civil servant. We want you to have a wage freeze. It's a, a contract is an agreement between two parties or person or whatsoever.
Yes.
So it can be a one-sided thing. So if me go freeze my wage before here, what you gonna do? You gonna provide, like, you gonna keep inflation below 1% in the 4 year, or you going increase it drastically after the 4 year finish, after me have the free, then you get to do your economic gymnastic and build where you build, introduce a new sector and build.
Yes, man. Thanks for calling. I gotta take this call though. Thanks for calling in though.
Yeah, man. Blessing. Blessing.
Hello.
Yes, man. Hello. I gotta take this call. Uncle Jeffrey Tavares. Good evening.
Good evening.
My brother.
In the background, please.
Yeah, I just did that.
All right, man. Go ahead.
Good. I just want to say on behalf of many Jamaicans, that 100 pounds has lifted off our heads. The fact that we have heard an election date announced, because we were left with a little confusion as to what the Jamaica Labour Party is really about. So we are glad to know that they stick to the Constitution and call it within the appropriate time. Now, I am also appealing to all Jamaicans, both Jamaica Labour Party supporters and the People's National Party supporters, to bear in mind that we have far gone the 70s and the 80s type of politics, where we see each other as green and orange or red, and we believe that we should terminate each other's lives. I am appealing to us to let sanity reign and to let the will of the people be dominant. And at the end of it, let us come together, unite, and get Jamaica up and running again. I also want to say that it is interesting and somewhat historical to see the opposition calling the election before the Prime Minister or before the governing party. And I am wondering if the PM is somewhat comfortable with that because of the many calls that he's saying that, he should not be on the ballot. And so he thinks that probably he shouldn't be the one to call it. And hence opposition.
Well, I don't think opposition called the election, Is the Prime Minister? Yes, the opposition did say something about the date. And they did say
the Prime Minister confirmed it.
Yes, they confirmed, because I think Dayton Campbell realized something. That's why Dayton Campbell said it.
Yeah, there are certain logics. That you can put together and be very close to something. So I guess Dayton put some logics together and got it spot on.
Yes. All right, sir.
And kudos to him.
Yes.
But I always enjoy your program. And as I said, as I started, I will end with it to say that I am happy that the date has been announced and a whole lot of Jamaicans have been relieved and been rescued from even a heart attack, because we were wondering what was really the plan of the GLP as it relates to the date of the election. So I'm happy, and I know many other Jamaicans are. Please do have a good evening, and the persons who are on the live, please enjoy the live and have a good evening as well.
Thanks for
Bless
calling
you, sir Tavares.
Blessing to you, sir. Thanks for
My
calling.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's good to hear when people call in and tell you that they enjoy your program. And I'm pretty much sure you're going to enjoy the program even more when you have opposition member of parliament, Sir Fitz Jackson, will be coming on soon. I'm pretty much sure he is ready to come on. For those who wanted to call in, so I didn't plan to go to the program this way. This person who wrote something in the chat room, John Powell. Jeffrey, could you ask Mr. Jackson if the party leader or the party leaders party leader, is going to address some of the false accusation regarding transfer of wealth and FinSacs, etc. Well, I'll ask him about it, but what I know, the FinSac report is ready. The government of Jamaica doesn't want to put it out. The FinSac report is ready, but the JLP don't want to put it out. So I don't know. We have to see what's going on with that. Anyone else want to call? You can call 954-529-8030 until Mr. Jackson gets here. Tell us about what you think about the election. Let me see something here. Hold on there. Yes. You want to call in? You can call 954-529-8030. So no wants to call into the program. You know, we sit here as Jamaicans, you know, and we believe that we can't do nothing. Nothing that way. We can do something. And we're going to do something on September 3rd. We're going to do something on September 3rd. So all of us going to stand up. We're not going to stay home. We have to do something on September 3rd. And we're going to do something fast. Very fast, too. I want to play. Thanks to all those who are coming on. Okay. Hello, good night. Welcome to the program. Good evening.
Hey, Jeffrey, what's on?
Me there, man. Live. They're living and picking in hell in Pantan.
I think the biggest problem, Jeffrey,
Yes.
is for the PNP to campaign and for them to give the receipt over for the old school bus them that they have, that they bought. We
Hold
need
on.
to see the receipt.
Who must give us the receipts?
That way, they just present the receipt where we buy the bus and who we buy it from, so we can track and see where the money goes.
We have the receipts, you know, and we know where he bought the buses. But what we don't have is to where the other some money disappear to.
Okay.
You see?
So the PNP need to put that at the forefront as well. It's only you guys, you know, putting everything up front. They need to set their game up too, man. That's your word, man.
I understand what you're coming from, and you know something. I think they're gonna step up their campaign. You know, I think they're gonna step up their campaign because the election is called now. So I think they're gonna step up their campaign. But what I encouraging Jamaicans to do though is to go out there and vote. Vote as if your life depends on it. Vote as if your pitney life depends on it. Do not stay home. Because if we stay home, we're going to use this word if me did know when it's too late.
Why, Jeffrey? It's the first I'm going to vote in my life, and now I'm 45, so.
There's a first for everything, my friend. Go out and vote. Encourage other people to
know
go out
that.
and vote.
You know that.
You know?
Man, too wicked and lie. Man, wicked and lie from more and find to niggle point.
I heard him tell a blatant lie last night. I had to call a friend of mine. I said, you listen to this man? This man lie out of his teeth about JUTC have billions of dollars in savings. That's not true. Jamaicans can go and Google JUTC now. And you will see that JUTC operating at a loss. And the government have been putting in how much money into JUTC. People are saying that government bus service around the world is not there to make a money. I don't believe in that, you know. I believe that the JUTC can make a profit. It can. You don't believe so, sir? Hello?
Oh, yes, brother. Yeah, man. We're supposed to. Jeffrey, we're supposed to. I used to make everybody come out and vote. That's all, you know.
Yes, man.
All right, me there go and tune in for that.
Yeah, man. Thanks much. Wow. Jamaicans are calling in. Listen to me. Until Mr. Jackson get here, walking in divine purpose, put up the number in the chat room for me, no? Until Mr. Jackson get here, I want people to call in and tell us what you think about this upcoming election. 954-529-8030. 954-529-8030. Until Mr. Fitz Jackson get here, opposition member of parliament for the People's National Party. Until he gets here, call us in and tell us what you think about the election coming up. Your views on the election, and will you go out and vote? Will you go out and vote? I want to show you something here now, though. Let me go into this. Where it is? Oh, Lord. I think it's this right here. Hold on there. Here it is. Last night, I'm going to replay something for you from last night. This can come out. This can come out. This can come out. This. And this. One moment for me, please. Let me do this here. I know you all see this from last night, but I want to play something here because a lot of people are getting some reaction. We're getting reaction from what happened last night. And
I now declare that nomination day will be Monday, August 18th. And the general election date is fixed at Wednesday, September 3.
Jamaicans will go to the polls in a crucial general election in September. Does the Jamaica Labour Party deserve a third consecutive term? Is the People's National Party ready for state power again? Follow our coverage, Jamaica Votes 2025, on the Gleaner's platforms, X and Instagram at Jamaica Gleaner, on Facebook
there you have
Gleaner
it.
Jamaica, and on our...
Now declare that nomination day will be Monday, August 18th. And the general election date is fixed at Wednesday, September 3.
There you go. General election on Wednesday, September 3. Without further ado, I'm going to welcome... hold on for me, please. Just a moment here, please. My guest is in the studio. Good evening, sir. How you doing? Welcome to the Make We Talk program once and for all.
Sir John, you accosted me recently and gave me an undeserved reprimand for not doing your program, but I forgive you.
So Jackson, how is everything, sir?
I am well. Very excited. More excited now that I know when I'm going to go to the tape. First, let me say good evening to your listeners. And
okay, go ahead, I'm going to cut this thing off. You can go ahead for me now. Sorry about that.
No, I was only extending my warm greetings to your listeners and your staff that is involved in your broadcast.
Thank you very much. So Jackson, talk to us about election 2025. How do you feel? Where do you see a party, our beloved party going? The party hail from Norman Manley, Michael Manley, PJ Patterson, Portia Simpson Miller, and now Dr. Peter David Phillips, and now the man himself, Marky G.
Yes. First of all, I believe most persons will agree that the status quo in Jamaica now and how it has been, particularly over the past 5 years, have become more and more intolerable on a number of grounds. And it is urgent and it is imperative that some change in direction be pursued now. And that's what the People's National Party has set out to do, to offer an alternative to the people of Jamaica. We are not, of course, a new party. We have a rich set of antecedents, and our guiding principles remain the same. Persons from time to time will ask me, what is the PNP about? What is the principles of the PNP? What is the ideology of the PNP? The ideology of the PNP has not changed from its creation in 1938. Its mission and purpose remain. However, society and the world is not static. It's dynamic. And any political party that is serious about offering effective governance and the development of your country has to adapt to the circumstances that prevail to achieve your goals. And so our policies will change over time depending on the circumstances, but the goals remain unchanged. What are those goals? The mission of the People's National Party is to build a fair and just society where the majority of the people that live here have a future of self-realization, to build a modern society that can improve the quality of life of the people. And there are some fundamental things. We have always believed that education is the platform, it is the pathway for not just development of individuals, but of development of the society. Because while individuals will pursue various professional endeavors for self-actualization, those self-actualizations in the main are critical ingredients in nation building, in our health profession, in our education, in engineering, and the whole technological field. Those are imperative for the development of a society that Jamaicans can feel proud of. The question is, how do we get there? One will say it's easy to say all that I've just said, and that is true, but it requires a deep sense of commitment to do the things that are necessary to get you there. Government, everywhere in the world, Jamaica no exception, it's about making choices. I have had the opportunity to serve in government, and sometimes you have some very hard choices to make, decisions to make. But you weigh on the particular side that you weigh on is always, or ought to be always, a function of your priorities and your commitments. So many will ask, we talk about what we're going to do in education. We talk about what we're going to do in housing for young people. It will cost money, yes. It will cost money. Government is an entity that collects taxes, raises revenue. It raises money and it expended those monies in keeping with their priorities. So, person will ask, we say we're going to do this, where the money is going to come from? It's going to come from the realignment of our expenditures based upon what our priorities are. Our health service, trust me, man,
Hold on for me, Mr. Jackson. Hold on for me, please. Please do not call now. I'm asking people, do not call the program now, please. Do not call the program now, please. Thanks. Sorry about that, Mr. Jackson. Go ahead, sir.
Not a problem. No problem. They're anxious to speak to you, John.
Yes, I think I'm anxious to speak to you more than anything else.
No, but as I was saying, that's what government is all about.
Yes.
And you assess a party who aspire to form government based on what its commitments are and what it establishes as its priority. I'm not going to sit here and give you the impression as if it does flip a switch or make a speech and something happens. It's not as easy as that.
Yes.
But it is possible based on what your commitments are. Our commitment as a party, as a movement, is centered around how do we lift the bottom up so that their lives can be better. Those who are up already, how we help to prevent them from falling down. we are not about securing a society for those who are privileged and well off to be better off at the expense of those who are not well off. It is for that reasons, for example, why I tabled a motion in the House to deal with the question of bank charges.
I was just going to ask you about that, you know.
You have the super rich, not talking about the rich, the super rich getting more and more super wealthy at the expense of everyday Jamaicans. And the government refuse to act in protection of the public at large because their friends and their well-connected persons don't want to diminish the level of super wealth that they are diminishing. Now, John, how you explain to me or anyone else?
Jeffrey.
Sorry, Jeffrey.
That's all right.
How do you explain? You don't have to be an economist or a genius. How do you explain that in a society that has not grown, economy has not grown, or where there is growth is marginal for the past 10, 15 years, and the only sector that is growing and making super profit are the banks? Banks are not therefore a facilitator for growth and development. It's about creaming off profits of account holders for themselves. Where you have a system that banks were established, and I have nothing against banks. In fact, one of my sons is a senior executive in an international bank. I don't have anything inherent about bank. It's how you do it. It's how you do it. Banks make money from use of people's money. You make deposits, and the law gives them a permit, a license, to unlend it to make profits for themselves.
Yes.
You have a bill in Parliament that has nothing to do with the profit that banks make from using the bank's money to lend people and so forth. But only to say don't penalize the public for providing the funds from which you make money. You don't have to be a genius. But guess what? They want to make their profits risk-free. Because they can't get the high interest rates as they used to get years ago. And a government, including the Prime Minister, not only sit and do nothing, but they take steps to prevent something from being done to protect the everyday Jamaicans. And that is what happens right across the society. You have in the health services, you have people connected to people in government, making millions and millions of dollars and suppressing the quality and the range of services that can be provided for everyday Jamaican. We hear about what is happening with Carmel Regional Hospital.
Yes.
Billions and billions of dollars being spent for many years, and there is no improvement in service delivery for everyday Jamaicans. And it can be any one of us, you know.
Indeed.
Because in medical emergencies, what is important is not how much money you have at the time of those emergencies, but how effective and available immediate health services are. Any one of us. And we have a country that goes on for year after year, and they just make fancy announcements while people suffer on a daily basis. That drill at University Hospital, $31 million. That can be purchased for $3 million. How much more equipment for service delivery could have been purchased? And the minister says, well, I don't care about that. This is the process of purchasing.
Jesus.
No alarm. Such insensitivity.
Yes. Let me ask
and
you.
And it goes on and on and on. Because we have an uncaring government. We have a government that don't have a sense of purpose for serving the everyday Jamaican, as I refer to mainstream Jamaicans. And that's what the People's National Party is setting out to address. You have so many houses being built at high cost. Many of them can't even be sold now because there are no buyers at those price ranges, right? And people are begging Just this evening, I was speaking to a gentleman, a bearer, who came to me,
Mm-hmm.
searching for something to buy in his price range for his new family. Can't get it. And, when we talk about corruption, many believe that it is abstract. I'm going to give you a literal case in point.
Go ahead, sir.
Tell you that something really rotten in how this government treats its people. In my constituency in South St. Catherine, there's a parcel of land in Greater Portmore that was reserved as a green space for the community amidst the thousands of houses that were being built around. Every urban planner across the world, I've had the opportunity to visit and to participate in international urban planning conferences.
Yes.
That you need to have green spaces, even in New York.
Mm-hmm.
For example, a major city like that. Central Park is critical to the city to preserve that space of area of green space. We had a green space in Greater Portmore that this government, knowing very well about my own objection as member of parliament, went behind my back because the Ministry of Housing owns the land, and to build 2-bedroom and I think 3-bedroom duplexes. Now that site is being built by who? Housing Agency of Jamaica, a government housing entity. The units being sold were advertised.
Yes.
At $22 million plus each. 3 minutes around where Phoenix Village is being built by Gore Developments. The similar units are being sold for $14.5 million.
What?
14.6 thereabout million dollars. $8 million less than what the government entity that said they care about people. We have many working people, young professionals, who are stumbling over each other to get a house that is affordable. And that is what the government of this administration, I raised it with the chairman of the board. They have pulled the advertisement. I've not seen it since last year. But it gives, and that was last year, they were advertising it for 22 plus million. Right? So these are just examples, Jeffrey, of what I'm talking about. We're not picking things out of the blue. And I challenge anybody to refute what I've just said.
You know, Mr. Jackson, we sit down and we listen to these people, and we wonder, how does the average Jamaican really survive in Jamaica now?
To be honest with you, that is one of the things I struggle with on a daily basis. As a member of parliament, I am kept in literally daily touch with the people on the ground in my constituency and elsewhere, because I do travel across Jamaica, and everywhere I go for some reason, people engage with me. And I have the opportunity to learn first and to see their realities. And let me tell you something, Jeffrey. These things we're talking about are not statistics. It's not data. It's real living people and their reality. When I go to the supermarket, which I do from time to time, and I go to the market and make purchases, and I see what I spend, and when you look at my income compared to many others who are far from it, it bothers me. It bothers me. Because you know firsthand what the level of the expenditures are, what you spend for what you get. And those persons there who don't have the income that I have, and more mouths to feed.
Yes.
Right? How they manage. And that's the reason why I can say with certainty something is rotten.
To the core.
Something fixing.
Yes.
And we can't go on like this. And this has been the path that we have been on for the past 10 years. It's not something that just popped up since the beginning of the year that we are responding to. This is the modus operandi in this country under this government, amidst the fancy talk. You asked me earlier on about the election and my confidence. There are two reasons why I have confidence. Strong confidence that we will be victorious. And I want to rephrase that from saying we, the People's National Party. But the people of Jamaica will be victorious. Because this election is not about Fitz Jackson. It's not about Mark Golden. It's not about the People's National Party. It is about the people of the country, their well-being and their future. They will be responding out of their realities.
Yes.
That is what is going to take them to the poll. And let me tell you something, Jeffrey. Last evening, I had a meeting in anticipation of the election announcement yesterday.
Yes.
I sat with my core campaign team, all my councillors, campaign manager, and all my key people to plan for nomination day, which we knew it would have been next week, Monday.
Yes.
Between yesterday and this morning, my phone has been on fire.
Wow.
With calls and text messages, WhatsApp messages. The people are burning in fire for the election.
My God.
Knowing the date cast, they can't control themselves.
Wow.
I spoke to one of my councillors earlier on this evening.
Yes.
Him said, MP, you have to print some more shirts because everybody now wants shirts since last night to this morning. That is how much they have been on fire, ready to go to the polls. That's one reason. The energy, the excitement. No, I was in Portland on Saturday. I was on our bus tour, went through St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Catherine, St. Thomas into Portland Saturday night. And I see and I felt the energy. And it's fascinating that between Saturday night and this morning, the magnitude in which it has increased. So my confidence is driven by what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling from the people. And secondly, when I listen, I never watched live the Prime Minister's address yesterday evening. As I said, I was more.
It was a headache.
No, to be honest with you, when I saw the clips from that, I felt the pain of the Prime Minister. He was hurting. He was hurting. You listen to him, you look at his face, you see the pain, the anguish he went through in announcing it. Obviously, not an announcement out of confidence.
Yes.
And I have been around a little while to have witnessed prime ministers, incumbent prime ministers, on both sides, announcing election dates. I have been in the audience, or I will have watched them on television live. This one is the most painful one I have seen for the announcer. So he knows what he knows.
Yes.
He knows what he knows. And we see what we see. And we hear what we hear on the ground. And I am looking forward to the third. I'm looking for the third. Not for my own victory, though yes, I'm looking for that, but not primarily. And for my party and the new government that we will form. But I look forward to a new beginning for the people of Jamaica. Look here, much. There is no other place in this country, in this world, that I desire to live. I once lived in the United States where I studied. Right? I know what life is like. I know what living there. I don't have anything against I have siblings who live there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I have nothing against. But for me personally,
I was telling my wife a couple of days ago that when you can get out of your house and go outside and sit down, I'm happy that we live in Florida. You sit down and you see a neighbor passing by and say, "Oh, Master Joe, what going?" And they come over here and sit down and chat. That's not hearing. That's not what's going on up here.
There are some things. What you have just said is so true, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
There are some things which I must admit I can't explain. So I am invested in this country and its well-being.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My life is tied up here, right? And apart from that, you know, if this country is going to be better, we have to make it better.
True. I want to ask you this question, Mr. Jackson. When the People's National Party gained state power after September 3rd, yes, the people of Clifton in your constituency, I know you have been lobbying for them to get their titles. Are you going to push it more for them to get the titles? Because it cannot be, Member Jackson, that in 2025, Jamaica celebrates 63 years old, and our people can't get land titles. A prime minister, hold on a minute, sir. A prime minister went into parliament and justify bulldozing down poor people land. It's one of the questions. My other question to you: do you believe that the prime minister should be on the ballot of 2025 where statute of the question cannot be certified?
Let me start with the last question first.
Yes.
No. Straight no.
Mm-hmm.
You see, in the activities that we are engaged in as representatives of the people, it's not a question of even guilt or innocence. It's when there's an overbearing perception of wrongness. We can't command the moral authority that is required to pull a country together. Because you see, a prime minister is not only for the supporters of his party that elects him.
Mm-hmm.
The prime minister is the prime minister of all of Jamaica and all its people in Jamaica and outside of Jamaica.
Yes.
And therefore, it is imperative, it is without debate that whoever occupies that ultimate office, as I choose to describe it, the ultimate office of head of government, then you must command the trust of, at least for the majority of the people. Well, I wouldn't even say the majority, but a substantial amount of its people. So that is where I am on that. On the Clifton matter, I must update you. How the Prime Minister went about that matter was regrettable. They put the cart before the horse.
Yes.
There was a claim of illegal sale of government lands and the houses being built. And the claim was made that there were criminals and gangsters involved in those sales, which gave rise to the building of the houses. It is a given that where you suspect a crime is committed, which is stealing of government land and selling them illegally, you investigate. You find out who is the victim and who is the criminal. Because the persons who are living there, if it is an illegal sale, they themselves are victims. So you make them victims twice. That is the action that they took.
Yes.
But it's important to note that area was an area adjacent to the established community of Clifton, where I have been pursuing for years the regularization, infrastructure development, and ownership.
Yes.
All over those years, between the councillors, one deceased, current one, allocations that he both would have received through the council and what I receive as member of parliament would have expended to build out the infrastructure to make it habitable. Because there's something special about Clifton. Clifton is not just another settlement area. Clifton community is one of those sugar plantation housing settlement where those at the lowest level in the sugar industry, those who work in the farm, very bottom, were living in barracks.
Oh.
In barracks.
Yes.
Up to when I became member of parliament, remnants of those barracks were there. They are no longer there. Because one, we gave assurance even before the formalization what we were going to do for them. So in the sugar industry divestment, the PJ Patterson administration at the time took the policy position that those who were living on the sugar lands, those lands would have been paid for already by the sweat and toil of their foreparents who worked in the industry. Because those lands were crown lands.
Yes.
So the understanding that they would inherit the land that their foreparents. In 2015, as a demonstration of good faith and good intent, Portia Simpson Miller, then Prime Minister, we issued letters of possession as an interim stake on those lands which we have subdivided prior to. Since we changed administration in 2016, everything fell flat. And the process of land titling for there went to a halt, and what pushing and pushing, we got some movement. Finally, last year, July, we were able to, in the main, complete over 98% of titling for those residents in
That's
Clifton.
good. Yes.
I must say that is one of my personal, I could say, achievement.
Yes.
Mainly because of the historical background to it. So those persons whose foreparents and many other Jamaicans, because a larger number came onto the land too that weren't in the sugar industry, and some lands that were not good for farming cane anymore, right? And we accommodated them and give them a piece of the rock so that they can become landowners. So when we talk about the policies we're going to pursue that you hear the leaders spoke about in terms of Operation Pride project to be complete, all that I did there, I sought to do, was in keeping with the philosophical commitment of the People's National Party. It was not just a Fitz Jackson initiative. It's part of our political, ideological conviction that those who toil in this country for centuries and never own a piece of the rock must come to an end. Those were not wealthy people who want to become more wealthy. Those were persons who own nothing but toiled all their lives, and their foreparents toiled, become owners. We're doing a similar thing in Quarry Hill, part of the Bernard land. I share with you a story, Jeff.
Go ahead.
That Quarry Hill development started under the People's National Party government in the 90s. It went again at snail's pace, just in cutting through the bureaucracy. And that's one of the things that we are committed to really revamp. But would you believe that those lands that were owned under the ownership of HAJ, after I've been toiling for years to put in infrastructure, road, water, light inside that community, AJJ attempted to sell the people the lands for approximately $1 million each without completing the infrastructure work.
What?
And they went behind my back. You know, I knew as MP,
Yes.
as elected representative. They never communicated that to me. They quietly sent the letters to the residents there. Is when they brought it to me, I became aware of it and intervened.
My God.
And guess what? They were going to take the money and spend it elsewhere and leave Quarry Hill without any infrastructure.
God. How can they be so wicked, Mr. Jackson, to the people of this country?
Wicked is an understatement. So, Jeffrey, when you hear I talk, I'm not talking because I'm just vexed.
Yes.
I'm vexed, yes. And I'm upset at these things. But those are the realities that takes place before my eyes. Takes place in my own constituency. To my own fellow Jamaicans. To your fellow Jamaicans.
Yes.
By the state. By the state. Not a private developer. As far as I'm concerned, the government was behaving in Quarry Hill. All worse than those persons who were selling the land and in Clifton illegally. All that I have said here to you, Jeffrey, I challenge anyone, anytime, to refute that on the basis of the facts.
Yes.
Because people make for chat all kind of things.
Until they chat all kind of nonsense and put their foot in their
chat
mouth.
all kind of nonsense. And they will say things that are convenient to say. But I can substantiate. Well, you don't have to substantiate it to me. Go to Quarry Hill and ask the people.
Yes.
Don't ask me one question. You go there and speak to them. You go to the people of Clifton and ask them what the journey that I have traveled with them, that they can become title owners of that place. Again, Jeffrey, what I have outlined as a matter of example of what transpires, not what I think, not what I feel, but the reality of what happens with our everyday Jamaican. Those are the things that drive us in the People's National Party. When we sit around the cabinet table or we sit around a committee table, it is those realities that will shape the policies of a People's National Party administration. What will do? It is those realities of children from working class family who you have encouraged to do well in school at the early childhood level, at the primary level, at the secondary level. Do well. Heed to your encouragement. Do well. And they can't go to university because they can't afford the tuition. Granted, if they come from wealthy families or half wealthy families, no problem. But what happened to that large swath of Jamaicans who have real dreams and aspirations? I, for example, one of my struggles, I can say many of the schools in my constituency are doing well. I work very closely with the principals and the schools to enhance their performances. When the children do well and they come to me, I am unable to do as much as is needed to be done. But then when I see some that I can help in an extraordinary way, who have become lawyers, who have become doctors, who have become radiologists, who have become engineers, who have become plumbers, who have become private investigators, and all different areas of life because of support that you can provide. That's what gives you the joy. But it's a bittersweet joy because you see some that you're able to facilitate. But the many who you can't and who have the need, not the mere desire, the need. Yes. Give the support, who can become real nation builders and drop by the wayside. That's where the pain comes in. And that becomes part of your living reality. on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
So changes and refocusing is urgent. It has been urgent 10 years ago. It's more urgent today.
No. Yes. Yes.
And that's the reason why the People's National Party forming the next government is an imperative. This election, I believe, is one of the most consequential elections that we will have in a very long time.
Indeed.
Very consequential elections.
Yes.
And therefore, I want to urge everyone in Jamaica who is listening to us, those in the diaspora, because though you live there, you are not disconnected with Jamaica. And Jamaica remains part of your well-being and your life. You have families here. You have relatives here. You have friends here.
Yes.
Right? You have a vested interest in making sure that Jamaica is in safe, clean hands. Because it's the only way that you can ensure that you have a government with the moral authority to engage the rest of the world. You wonder why, for example, in many even regional and international matters,
Yes.
Jamaica is silent.
You know, remember we're going to say, I was just saying in my opening remarks and the programs this evening that I had a conversation with former Jamaican ambassador Aluma Samba, somebody who come on this program, and she said to me that when she was High Commissioner to London, people want to know if there was a vote to be done, Ambassador, our High Commissioner, which way Jamaica going to vote? And whatever way Jamaica, they're going to vote that way with Jamaica. I think now Jamaica has no respect within CARICOM. Nobody respects us anymore. The vote with the Palestinian and the Israelis, until now we can't get a vote on that. We don't, you know, our diplomacy is not anymore, Mr. Jackson.
Jeffrey, I had the privilege and the distinction of serving as co-president and co-president of the ACP EU Joint Assembly for a 2-year tenure. As an elected post by the member countries. What you said that my friend and comrade Alum mentioned.
Yes.
I had that for not only the periods for which I was president and co-president of the ACP Joint Assembly, but during my ordinary membership, the ACP countries, they came to me to find out how I'm going to vote.
There you go.
They came to me. I remember one particular voting in the assembly with the Europeans.
Yes.
On a resolution. And my colleague from Uganda was intimated to vote a particular way or on a resolution. He never knew. He thought it was my counterpart from the European Union who was proposing that vote. He never knew it came from me. When I met him at the close of that session, I said, my friend, your response to the recommendation on that vote. He said, my president, I never knew it was you who said that. You have my vote. Once you say yes with that, then we are on it. Because it was a resolution affecting that country, among some others. The point I'm trying to make, the respect that Jamaica commanded in the world has evaporated. We have become lapdogs on the international stage. We have no moral compass at all anymore.
Yes.
That is a shame. You know, how we behave as a government determines how people look at you, Jeffrey. outside of Jamaica because they see you as a reflection of your government.
True.
Or the position that the government take. And that's the reason why governments must take morally defensible position so we can preserve the respect of our people right across the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's the imperative of international position and critical issues.
Yes. For those who are just joining us, I'm speaking to Member of Parliament for Southern St. Catherine, Mr. Fitz Jackson. Mr. Jackson, also we have with us in the studio here, Mr. Wilfred Radigan. Will?
Oh, that gentleman I had the privilege of meeting, and I must say, I have noted it in my diary that I stood in his midst physically, not only on airways.
Yes, yes.
Brother Radigan.
Will, we're not hearing you. Ready for us, Will? I think he's going to come on soon. Or maybe his mic is giving him the problem. He's going to come on soon.
Okay.
Member Jackson, the way how we speak about Jamaica and the international scene, I said to some group of people a couple of days ago, and live on air here, and I mentioned the name of the person who I would love to see become ambassador to Washington from Jamaica. And many people are going to say to me, Jeffrey, why do you think that way? The only way and the only person who I see can mend Jamaica diplomacy within CARICOM and maybe the United Nations or in Washington. And I will say it without any apology, is Ambassador Luma Samba. Because I watch her, I listen to her, even when she was giving a speech on reparation. When you listen to her and the passion and the respect that she commands, when the People's National Party gains state power, they need to get somebody to mend Jamaica's diplomacy around the world. I know you're not spokesperson on foreign affairs and foreign trade, but your take on the whole idea of mending Jamaica's diplomacy within CARICOM and I go further around the globe. Because one of the things that I think that Jamaica has lost respect for is when Jamaica put up Kamina Johnson Smith to run as chairman of Secretary General of the Commonwealth. And I think that's where we lose everything.
She was running to is probably what she was running from.
Oh, Jesus.
We saw what the Minister of Finance did.
Yes.
He packed his bag and he ran. You know, I found that very interesting. Those positions are usually taken up by ex-office holders after they serve their national. The highest office you can serve is your country. Mm-hmm. And when you serve internationally, you don't serve internationally at the expense of your country, right? And it's usually former ministers or so forth occupy those positions time to time. I found it interesting. But as I said, maybe it's not what she was running to, it's what she was running from. Mm-hmm. And we see what we are seeing. Yes. You see what the Ministry of Finance has become. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And, you know, public relations, you know, it's an art, you know.
Indeed. Yes.
It's art, and some people are good at it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you see the fullness of the mess only after.
Yes, yes. Let me go back to the campaign that is coming up, the election and everything.
Coming up, we're in it.
Yes, we're in it right now.
Yes.
What is your plan for the people of your constituency? You have been there since 2014, huh?
No, 1994.
Yes, 1994. Sorry. You went there in a by-election in 1994.
Correct.
Right. And you serve as chairman of the PNP from 2018 to 2020?
2017 to 2020.
Yes, yes. I know you have done a lot of work in your constituency because the people love you. They keep on putting you back.
And I'm humbled by that. I'm humbled by that.
Yes.
Trust for me is foremost in all relationships, in personal relationship, in political relationships, in representational relationships, in business relationships. Trust is an imperative. And I take pride that the people of South St. Catherine, not just the voters, but the residents on a whole, have reposed and maintained that trust in me. Now, the constituency that I represent is a very peculiar one. And every constituency can't have a one-size-fits-all approach. As many might know, South St. Catherine, like most of Portmore, is primarily a residential community. Over the years, we have sought to stimulate investments in areas that can provide employment, because most of our residents in South St. Catherine and Portmore, South St. Catherine is like Southeast and East Central St. Catherine in the main. Little variation. I have some farming areas in my constituency, and so does East Central also in the Bernard, which involve the Bernard Lodge lands, which is another travesty, by the way, and we can speak about that separately. But in the main, South St. Catherine and Portmore were residential, and so the number one issue is how do we, not how, but to go about or seek to improve and develop the various infrastructures. Physical infrastructure, the road network. Jeffrey, would you believe?
Yes.
For all those years that I have been in MP for South St. Catherine, the condition of the roads over this, particularly the last 5 years, is the worst it has ever been.
My God.
I used to boast, I must say, with others that I can take many different ways to get to different points in my constituency, because the roads are 90% in good condition and were being maintained between the National Works Agency and the local government, local authority, through allocations from the Ministry of Local Government, of course, because they don't have no direct source of funds to deal with those things, except when they get allocations from the minister, who exercises discretion in making those allocations. So the road network has become the poorest. And in the last year or so, there was a very clear attempt at political victimization in terms of the execution of the REACH program and the SPARK program.
What?
And have to raise hell in Parliament. And the next day they were out there fixing the roads that they start and left.
My God.
Fortunately, just in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I've been getting some movements. After a lot of hand twisting, I've been getting in some areas. And you know, when you have a lot of areas that are in bad condition and some get fixed, you imagine the pressure that I come under. Why those are fixing and mine over here that is
not fixing, yes.
Not fixing. That is one of the challenges that I'm having personally. But, you know, that's my reality. And I plead to my constituents and that I will not forget them now that I have completed some. But I'm unable to do all at the same time because we have a philosophy that I've provided leadership for in South St. Catherine. We build from the bottom up.
Yes.
So even where you have, for example, bad roads, I prioritize the main roads, the roads that everybody will drive on. Because I wouldn't, with limited funds, for example, Jeffrey, I wouldn't fix a road here where only those persons drive on, as against another one over here that many other persons, including that over there, is going to drive on that road. So we can optimize the benefit that comes from each expenditure. So that is the approach I've been taking over the years. Fortunately for me, my constituents have been very understanding. Because once I get the opportunity to explain to them these things, they can appreciate it and they work with me. And of course, that's one of the reasons why they have kept me as their member of parliament over this period. And they are recommitted to maintaining me as their member of parliament come September 3rd, when the opportunity avails itself. So we are primarily a residential community where those infrastructure, road, proper and reliable water supply, we're still have struggles. Many communities from time to time contact me about water being out. Sometimes it is reasonable circumstance like a broken main and so forth. But there are some improvements that are being done by the NWC over there to reduce the level of leakage and repair to some of the roads. But the unemployment issue is one of the major challenges that we face in Portmore, especially among our young people. And something which is not often said, but is very prevalent, is underemployment.
Yes.
The sociologists will tell you that when you have a large cadre of persons who have heeded to your urging to become educated and trained, they have the skills, they have the academic training, but their quality of life can't be elevated because of the job opportunities that they have. The number of university graduates, for example, who are working in these BPO at those salary levels don't generate much hope and pride on those persons who have toiled, studied hard, do well, and get stuck. And that is further compounded with the corruption and the nepotism that exists in the government service. So when they go to university and do well, and then somebody or persons with far lower qualification and competence are getting high-paying jobs, as was the case in Petrojam. That once you're connected, you can become HR manager, even though you don't meet the qualification, and you get obliged to try to do the degree while you're on the job. So
stay with the JUTC.
Yes, same thing at JUTC.
Yes.
And people see these things because guess what? Guess what these people fail to realize?
Yes.
Those persons are friends who those people know. So people talk. It's only a secret for a time. So when they see the proliferation of these practices, it caused them to get hopeless.
Yes.
I saw some statistics recently. Can't quote to them now. I need to research them again. Well, they never really researched them. They came to my attention. The number of tertiary trained young people who have migrated over the past 10 years. We're having a major brain drain in this country.
My God.
And it's not been talked about much. And it's because these young people don't see Jamaica as providing them with a space for their own development. And so they go elsewhere. The last 10 years have been much greater in outward migration of young people than any other period in recent times. So we need to stem those by facilitating the creation of quality jobs that can provide quality incomes.
Member Jackson, I have a question in the chat room here. I'm going to welcome Wilfred Rattigan. Mr. Rattigan, welcome to the program, sir.
Yeah. Mic check, mic check.
You're in a loud and clear from Negril Point to Waterhouse.
Yes, good evening, folks. MP, big up yourself.
Mr. Rattigan, blessings.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. And big up to all of the listeners and viewers and supporters. Yes, go ahead, Mr.
Member Jackson, there's someone in the chat room asking this question here. Why the IC cannot call out the names of the 12 ministers on the Integration Commission report? You know anything about it? Can you answer that one?
No, as I understand it, there are 8. Initially there was 6, and then there was 8 parliamentarians who are being investigated for illicit enrichment.
Mm-hmm.
And let me say a little bit about what the IC does or seek to do. In the main, it is saying for those of us in public service, whether in the government employment or parliamentarians who have influence over public expenditure
Mm-hmm.
or decisions that impact on public expenditure, that we want to make sure that while you're serving in office, you're not beneficiary, you're not personally benefited. So they look at your declaration of assets and income. They are not saying that you cannot become super wealthy while you're a public servant. But you must demonstrate that you are not becoming wealthy through illicit means. Illicit meaning can't be accounted for as having acquired legally.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is, So as I understand it, the problem with the Prime Minister is that they see this huge jump in income and they are not seeing any source of income to justify it. And they're not saying that he stole from anybody or robbed anybody. They say, tell us where you get it.
Mm-hmm.
As simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
And the Prime Minister has failed to do just that. And that is what is outstanding. So it gives a suspicion of, well, as the term implies, Brother Radigan is an attorney at law of great repute. He can elaborate on it. The law says that it's reasonable now to suspect that you got it from not so proper sources.
Yes, yes.
And I heard a journalist.
Hold on a minute for me, Member Jackson. Mr. Rattigan, you hear me? Take over from me for a minute, please. I got to turn off something here. Please,
okay, sure, no problem.
Go ahead, Member Jackson.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was making the point that a journalist I saw with a post, somebody who I interact with, and I had to reach out to him because he said, with all the reporting by the IC, no one has established that the Prime Minister take X from this ministry, X from that ministry, and so the whole claim of illicit enrichment is baseless. And I found it so unfortunate because we all know that public officials, elected and appointed one, can illicitly become wealthy, not by taking cash from a ministry, but the kickbacks that they get from the decisions that they make, favorable to one entity or the other. And for a journalist of that level, being president of the Press Association of Jamaica, it was very disappointing. So long and short of it, is the fact that they just want to make sure that we are not using our office to enrich ourselves. There's no objection to us earning and becoming wealthy once you do so legitimately and honestly in a way that is transparent and is accountable.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct in your assessment of what it means to submit a statutory declaration and failure to provide information, what it means in terms of illicit enrichment. And it's, as I said, it's unfortunate that a journalist would seem to suggest that unless you take money from a ministry, then it's not illicit enrichment. It shows ignorance. It shows that the person hasn't read and doesn't know the statute, because that's not what it speaks to. It just also, it's depressing at times when you look at some of the stories and you realize that what you have in Jamaica, to a large degree, through my lens, you have reporters. You don't have journalists. You don't have investigative journalists. They just report a story and then they move on to the next story. There's no depth to what they're doing. Because I'll tell you what, MP, if there was any depth, they would have read the affidavit produced by Mr. Craig Beresford. And in that affidavit, and if they read it in conjunction with the Prime Minister's affidavits. I think he has 2 or 3 of them. And if they read that in conjunction with the investigation that was tabled in Parliament concerning the Prime Minister's statutory declaration from 2019 to 2022, I believe, they would have realized that there's much more to this story than meets the eye. I mean, until I saw that affidavit, I didn't know that the Prime Minister was involved in Olint, a Ponzi scheme. I didn't know that the Prime Minister was involved in Cash Plus, another Ponzi scheme. And by the way, I'm not accusing him of being a player. I'm just saying he's associated with it. And the evidence is there. He invested in those Ponzi schemes. And he withdrew funds from those Ponzi schemes. They didn't know that he was involved with a company called Panadian that purchased a boat in the British Virgin Islands in 2008 for $240,000 along with 2 partners. They wouldn't know this. They didn't know about Sunshine Mobile. They didn't know about the Leader Taxi Service. They didn't know about Omega Bridge. They didn't know about Saxthorpe. A lot of them didn't know about Imperium. They didn't know about but the other they knew about ADMAT, but they had Estate Bridge, Positive Media, and I could just go on and on and on and on and on. You know, the Prime Minister said he wasn't born with a gold spoon in his mouth. But no, I, Wilfred Rattigan, can tell you that he has about 30 gold spoons in his mouth. And the question I'm asking is the same question that the Integrity Commission is asking. One question: where did you get these gold spoons from? You never bond with them. Where you get them from? Source of funds. Where you get the money from, Mr. Prime Minister? And he's going through all of this convoluted, he's doing gymnastics with them, and he cannot get to the true answer. If you go back and you look at his 1997, the 1997 registration, because the election was December 1997 and he was seated in 1998. You will find where he said he's a financial controller. That's what he described his occupation as. No, we don't know him as no financial controller. He doesn't have a degree in financial. We don't know him as that. But that's what he said on the thing. I'm a financial controller. And now we're getting to realize that maybe he was a financial controller of ill repute. Maybe he was. But, you know, the thing is, MP, I have to give you kudos for these things that you're doing, because sometimes I feel like when I read about your efforts to hold the banking system accountable for poor people, it's very, very commendable. It's a noble, noble effort. And I don't think you get as much credit as you deserve for being a lone soldier out there, fight the war, fight the battle. But I am going to tell you that I respect all that you're doing for the poor people. And some of them poor people are my people too. And some of them are your people too. Some of them are Jeffrey people.
Touch on the bank thing, you know what I find interesting? You talk about poor people. What many people don't know, the various category of persons who have contacted me directly because of their experiences with the banks, including some that work at senior levels in the financial sector, and what their experiences have been. Senior levels. In fact, my assistant in my constituency office, said to me a couple of times, MP, you need to open a separate office to deal with this bank business, because the amount of calls that come. It speaks to the extent to which people are being affected. And Jeffrey and myself were talking earlier on about the fact that this whole banking thing runs very, very, very deep and wide in the country, and the government failed to respond to it. So I take your commendation, but the interesting thing, I really bumped into this thing because it's not out of any direct experience I had initially, though I subsequently found out that I was a victim and never knew. It was as a result of persons raising it with me, and I investigated further and found out the extent of what was taking place. But my brother, we do it because our conscience dictates. And the truth is, I could not do otherwise, knowing what I know, see what I see. And I look forward to this election too, for another reason, Jeffrey. When we form the next government by having a majority in parliament, the bill that has been sitting on the order paper since 2018, that the JLP government led by Mr. Oles defeated in protection of the banks and in preservation of those massive charges amounting to over $50 billion annually in fees, we will be able to pass that bill and allow that money to remain in the pockets of everyday Jamaicans. That's one of the reasons why I look forward to this election also. And I will say to the voters in Jamaica, and many in the diaspora, because many of them contacted me from the diaspora too, this election is giving you an opportunity to vote in protection of your own money. Because what we do know is that so long as this JLP government remains in office, your pockets will be raided or continue to be raided by the banks under the protection of this JLP administration. So for personal, selfish reasons, everybody who care about preserving their money should go out and vote for People's National Party candidate so that we can have a majority in parliament in protection of their interests. Even a single issue, your own interest, vote for the PNP candidate in all 63 constituencies across Jamaica. That's my plea. Everybody will jump up and say, Fitz, whoa, great job you're doing. Like what you do, you're standing up and fight. Put your money where your mouth is, and make sure that the People's National Party form the next government. Demonstrate to the JLP administration that you are going to protect your interests because they won't protect it for you.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Arthur, you can unmute your mic.
Yeah, sorry about that. You know, this morning I got a call to appear on CVM with about 15 minutes. And I thought long and hard about it. And I eventually went on about 15 after noon. One of the questions they asked me was, you know, if the PNP or the JLP win, what do you think the priorities should be? Should it be, you know, agriculture, health, whatever? And I said to the person, listen, yes, we have priorities. We have agriculture, national security, education, health, housing, so on and so forth. But that's not my priority. I said, speaking for myself, my priority is leadership. You can have the best policies, and if you don't have the leaders willing to back those policies and implement those policies, then it's of no moment. And I went on to say, look, here's what I considered ineffective leadership. The rural school bus program. We are all in agreement. It's a noble idea. It's an idea that should be implemented. We're all in agreement. There's no argument on that. But there is a serious disagreement about how the process took place, procurement and otherwise, and how it's being implemented. And the money spent, or the money that shouldn't be spent, and the buses that were purchased that shouldn't have been purchased. I said, I have a serious problem with the leadership. Likewise, I have a serious problem with my prime minister. Is statutory declarations going back to 1998. If you read the affidavit of Mr. Craig Beresford, going back to 1998, but definitely from 2016 to present, they have a problem with that. And I said, I this is not leadership. So the question I want to ask you, MP, is this. We've talked about corruption, we've talked about nepotism, we've talked about cronyism, we've talked about fraud, abuse, waste, mismanagement, all of these things, unethical behavior. What, in terms of leadership, what does the opposition have? Once they get in, we're not talking 3, 4, 5 years from now, once they get in, because this is serious business and it's a priority. Once they get in, can you tell us what the plan is to address the misdeeds that have gone on for the past 9 years plus.
When the PNP forms the next government, those practices will come to an immediate end in government. Well, many of those that are there now will no longer be there. But to the extent that there are residues of it in any of the ministries, I can give it that assurance that the PNP government, led by Mark Golden, will ensure that that comes to an end. But I think there's another dimension to the question I think that you want to find out. Those persons who have been involved in those deeds, what will happen to them?
Yes, sir. That's a question.
I have an incident in my constituency where the GLP opponent himself and others been walking around and tearing down my poster boards, right? The mayor, who is part of my campaign team, literally saw him in the act and approached him and demand that he cease and reverse what he was doing. He went and reported to the senior soup what was happening. I called the senior soup myself, having gotten the information. And I said, you know, soup, it won't be enough for you to speak to the person. You have to instruct them to cease and undo the wrong that they have done. Because if you don't do that, they will receive the benefit of what they were doing. And there must be some penalty to it. I say that to say, gentlemen and listeners, if the PNP government should not take the necessary steps to bring to justice any and all criminal activities, like many of what that we have seen, then we would have failed the people of Jamaica. So I say all of that to say, and you're an attorney, you know you can only take legal action when you can amass the evidence to support it. So I can assure you that we will not say, it's all right, I saw the thing set. No. While I heard you talk about the school bus thing, you know, that one pains me. That one pains me. I tell you why. 2 days ago, I woke up one morning, I was reflecting on the whole thing. And I remember what the experience was with the used cars for the police. I serve on the public accounts, public appropriation and administration committee of parliament that thoroughly investigated that matter. Up to now, all the cars that were paid for are not delivered after over 5-6 years. I think it's over $30-something million is still outstanding to the government. The government have taken no action to receive taxpayers' money. When the current minister became Minister of National Security, he formally announced the termination of the policy of using used cars. In the investigations that we did at the PAC, the police was reporting that the cars were breaking down on the road. They couldn't handle some of the terrain, rural terrain, that the police have to traverse to carry out their duties. So all the evidence proved that they were not appropriate for executing the job at hand. The same government go and buy some old used buses to carry our children across Jamaica. They terminated a policy that was not safe, reliable for the police to carry their duties, but they go and buy some old buses to transport our children. As Damian Crawford would say, what can go so?
Member Jackson, I had to ask you this question here too. Isn't there a certain age that you can bring in a car, a certain year you can bring in a car?
I think it is 6 years.
So
Unless you were the previous owner of the vehicle and you get the engineer's report that is in good condition, that you can bring it in. But I would have to double check that. My recollection is that 6 years for a motor vehicle unless you're the previous owner. But another point I wish to make, and it has been revealed, the minister announced that these buses were inspected before they were brought to Jamaica. The level of breakdown and tires disintegrating on the road is either one of two things. The minister was not telling the truth about the inspection being done, or two, the inspection was ineffective. Just on the surface of it. And that is what we are exposing our children to. Not to mention the other question of the cost. $1.4 billion for 110 old buses. How does that compare to the alternative of buying new vehicles that are purpose made, appropriate for their application? I am understanding that the cost of retrofitting these buses might very well be the cost that they paid for them to make them more expensive than if they had brought brand new buses.
But member Jackson, does the people of this country know how much their advance will pay for those buses? And if it was some other modern democracy, member Jackson, the minister would have to step aside and
long time.
An investigation happening.
Even before you finish the sentence you were making, that would have been done.
So why is it?
But one thing I can tell you though, Jeffrey, let me tell you this. We intend to win the next election. We are going to make sure that a thorough investigation is done. In much the same way that we had a thorough investigation of what happened at Petrojam, at Nesal, at CMU, we are going to ensure that that happens when we form the next government and let the chips fall where they may, as we did before when we investigated those acts of malpractice and dishonesty. Some of those matters, as you know, are now before the courts.
You said also let the chips lie where they may or where they lie, whatever. Is it that? Yes, is it that if somebody to go prison, they will go prison and nobody will say, look here, this can't
happen? Jeffrey, remember what happened to a former Minister of Labor?
Yes, Jack Smith, yes.
Okay. Do I need to say anything more?
Okay. Mr. Rattigan, over to you, sir. Unmute your mic, Ratty.
School bus thing is depressing on many levels. One of them, though, MP, and I'm not sure if you're aware of this, you'll see where there are videos circulating or where the minister Vaz, that is, said that we got these buses because the U.S. government allotted $5 billion to the states to refresh their fleet. And so if you took him at face value and at the words he expressed, you would get the sense that these buses are good buses, and it's just that they were just refreshing the fleet, that they wanted new buses, and so they got the buses. Not true. If you go and you read the Environmental Protection Agency's report on the $5 billion grant, you will hear, if you read it, you'll see what they said. And what they said was this. They said, we are getting rid of these buses because of the emissions and the impact that they have on upper respiratory issues concerning the children in the buses. They said the diesel fuel that they burn, the emissions, they're permeating the cabin, and children are having issues. And so they said we have to get rid of these buses and bring in clean diesel or electric, but not the ones we have. So if you take the American government at its word, what they're saying is that these buses are harmful to our children. We're not talking about safety now, like being involved in a crash. We're just saying the buses by themselves, they're harmful. So the question I have is this: if those buses are not good enough for American children, why are they good enough for Jamaican children? I don't understand that.
They're not. But I believe, one of the things that many people are coming to the conclusion is that these old bus purchases is not more than a hustling. In much the same way that the used cars were hustling for somebody, and all who were connected.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Let me interrupt the first. While you were talking about it, I got a phone call from inside the Prime Minister's circle. Somebody who's connected, as you said, connected to these things. And the person had a message from the Prime Minister, which is just laughable. But you said something and it caught my attention, and you're absolutely correct, because I had a conversation last night with another person in the Prime Minister's circle. There are 23 cars from the 2017 used police car scandal. There are 23 cars on the wharf right now. And they've been there for the last 5 years. They've been there for the last 5 years.
Because we have our follow-up investigation from time to time with the Ministry of National Security when they appear before the PAAC was to get an update. And the last thing we heard was that the cars were on the wharf since then, and for some miraculous reason, this big, efficient government, this effective government that they talk about, can administer the purchase of some cars. You don't have to be a genius is that something is inherently wrong. I can assure you, and one of my own passion about government, and over the years, not new, is that government must effectively serve the people, both in terms of efficiency, both in terms of responsiveness, and also in terms of its sensitivity to the people of the country. And one of the things that I will be pushing for in a Mark Golding-led administration is for the government of Jamaica to become a more caring government, a more sensitive government, apart from being efficient, transparent, and honest.
I have some answers to the question Jeffrey posed to you about cars and the age that they will be allowed to enter Jamaica or not. For cars, sedans, station wagons, SUVs, up to 6 years old.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, but for commercial passenger buses, it's different. If it's a 15 to 20 seater, up to 12 years. 21 to 30 seater, up to 15 years. 31 to 45 seater, up to 20 years. And over 46 seats, up to 25 years. Minister, you have to change them regulation.
Yeah.
You have to change them. You can't have up to 25 years. You can't bring it. That's not a whole bus.
Vintage.
Yeah, vintage. So if you bring that in, it cannot be used for commercial purposes. If you bring that in,
that is something we definitely have to revisit. Let me say this to you, gentlemen. We don't intend to be a government that talk in opposition, and then when we form government, it's something else. So I want to throw something out to you.
Mm-hmm.
When we form government, we are inviting you to be as engaging with us in the governance while it is taking place there and then, rather than after or even before now.
Mm-hmm.
So that you raise something like this with me tonight. I can't give you, I know it's on the surface of it, something is seriously wrong, and it's something that we need to address. I want the kind of engagement as we are having now, so that while while we are in government and doing many things, we are also making sure that we do the important things, like the one you mentioned of. So we want you to keep us on our toes, so that
And
we
we
are
will.
responsive. Because it's not about satisfying an argument from you, Ratty or Jeffrey. It's about making our government become more effective and the lives of our people become better. That's what it's all about. That's what the democracy ought to be about. Engagement of people towards making the society better, making government work better, and our lives of our people are better.
Member
So I want to engage. I want this engagement after tonight and after the 3rd.
Yes. Member Jackson, my question to you right now, sir. Would you say that this whole next administration is one of the most corrupt administration in Jamaica's history since 1962?
Well, unless you can find another one that beats it, then the answer is yes. No, again, Rod, it's hard to be picking on you, but your craft in the courts is based upon evidence, right, and data. The data is clear. There's no other government in the history of this country, none, across political parties, and this one beats them all. If there's an award to be given for corruption, this government wins it with flying colors. Yes, sir.
Let me. You mentioned something about the diaspora. Said you'd like to engage with us. Not down the road.
Not just the diaspora, Ratty. Jamaicans on a whole.
Jamaicans everywhere. All right.
About issues that affect our country and the governance of it.
Well, let me talk to you a little bit about the diaspora. And maybe you are able to answer the question, maybe not, because I know this is not your area of specialty. It's foreign affairs. But the diaspora as a group, we've been promised several things. We've been promised voting rights. We've been promised Senate seats. And even before 2016. But the promises were made even stronger after 2016. And we haven't realized those promises. They tell us that when they come over here and they're trying to, they're seeking funding or some kind of support, they say, oh, yeah, we you guys need to get, we need to work on something so that you can vote from overseas. And also we realize that as a community, you deserve to have representation in the Senate. We haven't seen that. Also, there's a group called the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council that was formed by the government of Jamaica in conjunction with some elements of the diaspora. But that organization is led by the junior minister in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. And we find it untenable, at least my little section of the diaspora, that you have a diaspora group that's being run by the government. I think there are 5 people on the board, and I think of the 5, I think 3 of them are they're based in Kingston. Now, you see where I'm going. You know the question I'm coming at you with. The PNP, they take government.
Yeah.
What will they do about the promises, and what will they do about this organization?
But what I can say, yes, I'm not engaged in a fulsome way in the foreign affairs portfolio. Some of what issues you mentioned up with these variety of groups, I find it interesting. And a PNP government will have to ratify all of that and bring some sanity to it, because it can't prevail as it is. I am struck about a diaspora group being run by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has consulates and embassies across the world that administers the government's foreign policy. The groups, as I understand it for some time now, is made up of the people within the diaspora, and there's supposed to be some independence on their part, separate from the government.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems not to be the case. So you, again, I stand to be corrected, Roddy, but what I'm picking up is you have this multiplicity of groups in the diaspora, and the government get conflicted because it has its own, and you have like the different ones now are almost competing with each other in terms of developing positions and so on. I think that the government should take itself out of this diaspora group. Let you all organize amongst yourselves and arrive at some collective representative grouping that we as a government can interface with. The PNP has always been a government of inclusiveness. Even in legislation, our approach is about engaging people around decision making, especially when we're about making long-lasting or far impacting decisions, that we engage those who are going to be affected by those decisions so that the policies that we embrace finally can have ownership among those it will impact on and allow for better coordination of implementation between government and those entities. That I can assure you we seek to tidy up.
Let me just say that
the appropriate minister, no doubt, will lead in that regard, and of course, all of us as PNP parliamentarians will able to also make our input.
Let me just hold on, Mr. Just a minute, please. I have a call in line. Miss P.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Member Jackson. Miss P, I have a question to ask you, and she's gonna hang up and answer the question, sir. Go ahead, Miss P.
Good night, Comrade Jackson. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Comrade P.
I am begging you something, sir. When our party formed the government, may I ask you, please, you and the rest of the group, to have the diaspora in our parliament, and when you say they want investors, please open the door for the diaspora. I personally, I look a farmer, I lent a pharmacy, supermarket, hardware, and all the things that foreign people come here invest. Hotels, we can have people employ we Jamaicans because they are Jamaican and they know everything about Jamaica. We are asking you, please, Marky Jimmy, know you are listening. Cut out some of the foreign investors and bring in our diaspora investors in our country. That will fling us very, very far. Mr. Rattigan no eat bulla and butter. So when he come here and he work my shop, our business and employ we the Jamaican people, he will know how to treat we. Please, too much foreign person come here and I invest and I take out the money, I carry back a feed them country and left with country drain, talk down to we, angry we, disrespect we, fire we, short contract, all those things need. But as a ordinary Jamaican personnel, I am begging you, put the diaspora in our heart.
Yes.
We want a minister of diaspora, please, sir.
All right.
Okay, sir? That's how we may beg you, please make a note of it.
You don't even have to beg, Miss P. Just a request is enough. And I'll start at the end.
Okay.
We don't have to put the diaspora in our hearts. The diaspora is and has always been a part of us. We have always maintained that we see you as part of the Jamaican family that happens to be residing outside of the territory. One of the things that we, of course, we always seek to do, although how successful we have been at it is another matter, how we facilitate members of the diaspora in investing in Jamaica in whatever area areas that they might choose. That we have to look at and to see how well we can improve it. But I don't think we have to make any special allocation because you have a special place in the normal course of things here. But if you have any difficulties in coming back and doing business in Jamaica, we'll endeavor to facilitate that.
All right, Mr.
Let me just. Okay.
Okay, let me go back and
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Thanks so much for calling
Okay.
in.
Let me just say that, yeah, DeAndre and Joycelyn, they made a good point. They said that, well, the Jamaican court decided that American citizens cannot sit in parliament. And that's the case of Mr. Vaz. That's absolutely true, but there's a way to get around that. And it's called a referendum, along with two-thirds of the vote in the parliament and the House of Representatives and the Senate. That was supposed to be in the Constitutional Reform Committee's report. It wasn't there. So, and again, they promised us that. So, and there was a perfect opportunity for them to say, all right, you know what? Since we have promised and since there's a viable opportunity, this is a viable opportunity. Let's put it in the constitutional amendment. Let's put in one saying that, okay, we want two-thirds vote in the House of Representatives, two-thirds in the Senate, and then we're going to take it to the people as a referendum because it's considered a deeply embedded provision of the Constitution. So therefore, it requires two-thirds vote in both houses as well as the referendum. So that's how you get around that problem. And they were supposed to do it, but they didn't do it. But again, no, know the deal. A promise is a comfort to a fool. So
the fact of the matter is that our Constitution and our legislation, we can always change them.
Of course.
They were developed to achieve goals as we saw them then. Over time, as things change, times change, the whole order of things in the society change, then you have to revisit them. This whole constitutional reform process that the government was pursuing, it was flawed from the very beginning. From the very beginning, it was flawed. And it crashing, I wouldn't even say midway, because it was so flawed at the beginning that it was going nowhere, right? To begin with, when you don't seek to reach consensus around what you're going to deal with to start, then what's the point? So it was all a bit of gymnastics to appear to be busy doing things. All of these meetings that were all having over the place before we even settle and agree on what the menu of things that we're going to pursue to reach a decision on. Got to agree on some things don't mean what you decide what the decision is before it starts, But this government already decided before it started what it wanted or didn't want it. And so it was not going anywhere. So what I can say, my brother, is that upon assuming office, the whole constitutional reform exercise will have to be revamped, right? And be pursued again in a way that we can reach to some final decision on those and other related issues. There's a menu of other things that the government has conveniently decided to leave out unilaterally.
Member Jackson, go ahead, Mr. Rotherham.
No, I've heard opposition leader Mark Golden speak on this issue on a number of occasions. And one of the things he said, which I completely agree with him, is that if you're going to do constitutional reform, if you're going to repeal and replace, then it cannot be done and should not be done in phases. You can't say, well, we're going to phase one and we're going to do 3 or 4 things. And then when you even ask them, so when is phase 2 going to take place? They can't tell you when phase 2 is going to take place. He said, no. Yeah. So
that's my point.
Yeah. So he said, and like I said, I agree with him. My idea of it is you get all the experts, and I mean true experts. You get the right people in the room, and you say, listen, we're giving you a year, 2 years, whatever the time period is, to come up with a full constitution. We'll work with this old one here now. But we're going to give you like maybe 2 years because it takes time. And then what will happen is that every 6 months we expect a report from you about the progress.
Yeah.
Right. And then at the end of the process, you come up with a brand new constitution reflecting Jamaica. That's what I expect. I don't expect them to say we're going to talk about 6 things, and then they say, well, what about the constitution, the CCJ? What about this? What about that? They said, no, we'll do it some other time.
Some other time. When is that other time? The next 20 years?
Hey, you know what? No, they have a history. No, you said the next 20 years, and we laugh. But you know what? Think about this. The Prime Minister said that the rural school bus program. No, let me go back. Minister Vaz said this was an emergency purchase. That's what he said. He's on record of saying emergency purchase. And we know what that means under the Procurement Act of 2017 and the amendments of 2025. We know what that means, right?
Negotiate with one person. But it's simple.
Yeah. But here's what happened. He said it's an emergency. But then the Prime Minister came and said, no, we've been working on this for the last 9 years. Yes. So I'm saying, well, if an emergency going to cause, if 9 years will result in an emergency, what will result in just a regular purchase? 20 years? 30 years?
But not only that. Not only that, Member Jackson and Mr. Rattigan. Where is the $200 million that Grace McLean and former Minister Roel Reid supposed to spend on a school bus services too?
I think that was in 2017 or thereabouts.
Do you know anything about that money, sir? You know anything about no, nothing about that money.
No. You see, these people, they lie so much that they lie on themselves and don't even realize it.
Because
the example you just gave.
Because the more Darrell Vaz speak about this rural bus service, is the more he put it in one mouth.
Exactly.
And he lies and lies and lies and lies. He talk about bus after bus after bus. He should be prison after prison after prison.
Well, I hear over in Portland they talk about prison term, but we say not more about that. As the attorney in the House will say,
for now,
let due process take its course.
Member Jackson, you have been with us for a long time, and I won't keep it too long because I want you to come back.
Yes, and you want me to have energy to win as much votes as I can.
Indeed.
So that we can form the next government.
Yes,
not only in South St. Catherine, but in all the other constituencies in Jamaica.
Indeed. That when I called you as minister, maybe industrial minister of something.
Jeffrey, after the next election, there's one thing you can certainly call me. Member of Parliament.
I know that.
We'll leave it there.
Member Jackson, I want you to speak to your Jamaican people. And, speak to us, voters and undeciders. Speak to us to get us to come over to say yes. And speak to Jamaicans on a whole. Because of what you said, that this election is one of the most consequential elections in the history of this country. And the soul of Jamaica's democracy relies on us, the Jamaican people. Go ahead, sir.
Indeed. I would say to my fellow Jamaicans, both in Jamaica and out of Jamaica, the future of our country lies in our hands. The democracy that we have and we have had in Jamaica and in the world never promised or offer a perfect government, but it provides us with an opportunity to make the best choice available to us at any one given time in our democratic architecture. What has been happening in the country over the past 10 years in particular is dismal, to say the least. And the evidence of it is there, regardless of the various spin that the government might present in our health services, in the criminal justice system, in the road network, in infrastructure throughout the country. And as my brother Wilfred alluded earlier, the whole governance of the country. You cannot mobilize a country towards goodness, towards great achievement without the honesty and the confidence of the people in that government. The current administration has demonstrated it is devoid of integrity to lead this country. The policies that it has been pursuing over the past 10 years have not served to advance the well-being of the everyday Jamaican. In terms of education, it is severely underperforming. In fact, the country has educational performance have deteriorated significantly over the past 9 years. Our health services, which all of us need, we have nothing to applaud. Cornwall Regional is one such example. The various instances of corruption in the procurement of equipment and services for the provision of health makes our country, the people of this country's life more miserable. When you speak to people who have to go to the hospitals and sit in chairs in the corridors, not for hours, but for days and weeks, and in some instances months, it speaks for itself. The People's National Party, out of its philosophical commitment and underpinning of ensuring that the quality of life for the everyday Jamaican can be made better, we have structured and formulated a range of policies for education, to ensure greater opportunity for our young people who don't have the wherewithal. Housing demand in our country, we have formulated a range of housing policies that can cater to those at the bottom, those in the middle. We make no bones about it. Those in those categories are our priorities. Those who can fend for themselves require less support from government, and they can make their way. But as government, we must provide for and enable those who are least able to do for themselves so that their dreams can become a reality. We want to create an economic opportunity, an economic environment that is not only the super rich in this country can do well, but our micro, small business, our business operators, our farmers, our artisans can operate in a space that is conducive to their existence in the first instance and their growth and development over time. We recognize that if those at the bottom, those in the middle are facilitated to become better and more successful, it lifts the entire country for all of us to become more successful. And that Jamaica can be a place that the majority of the people can have a higher level of contentment in going about their everyday lives. But most importantly, we will be a government that listens to the people, because we don't believe that ultimate wisdom resides only in the head of us who form the government. We believe it resides in the people as a whole, and we are to tap into our people and all that they can do so that the country can become a better place. So yes, we might not posit the totality of all the solutions, but the solution lies in our people, and they will be our main source of wisdom, of guidance towards making this place a better country. That's what the People's National Party, among other things, offers to the people, and invite the voters to once again return us into your trust, and we will not disappoint you in that march to make Jamaica a better place. Let us build together.
Member Jackson, there is a statement released a while ago, was sent to me by the communication team of the People's National Party. A statement from King's Counsel KD Knight about an utterance on the Jamaica Labour Party stage last night where an audio clipping of his voice was played. And I want to play this clipping before you go. And I think Mr. Rocky, you have a question from Member Jackson?
Yeah, let me just ask two quick questions, MC. first one is Clifton is in your neck of the woods. It's in your constituency. Am I correct?
Yes, we spoke about it with Jeffrey earlier.
Okay, because what I wanted to ask you was,
No, you can ask still.
I wanted just a status report. Have they rebuilt the community, and if they haven't, do you have anything you'd like to say concerning what should be done?
I was clarifying for Jeffrey and others that the Clifton, it's an area adjoining the established area of Clifton where we have since 2010 thereabout went through the period of subdividing and allocating the lots to residents in Clifton, who, by the way, as I've said earlier on, are the descendants of those persons who work in the sugar industry for years. We're far gone, but since the election in 2016, everything came to a virtual halt. And after much pushing and pressuring, we finally got the titles in place for 90% of the residents in Clifton proper. The demolition that the Prime Minister organized and led was for an area adjoining Clifton, right? For those that have been demolished, only one of them house has been rebuilt.
Wow.
And all the rest who they said purchased lands from criminals and others, nothing have been done to them, for them, to my knowledge. There were some discussion between the SCJ and them. One of them contacted me on the social media platform just a day or two ago and informed me that nothing has been happening between them, between her in particular, that one person, and the government. So, as I said to Jeffrey earlier on, Brother Radigan, it's a case where the government put the cart before the horse. Went in before going and investigate the claims that have been made. They demolish those who have been victim of any illegal transaction and then make them a victim twice. And left them behind.
Two quick things, Jeffrey. One is the 300% increase in salary for MPs or parliamentarians. Would you be opposed to a drawback or what do you say? I'm trying to think of the word where you pull the salaries back, but then reallocate it to try to for some other purposes, to say, listen, you ladies and gentlemen, you're servants.
I would not be opposed to a revisit. What form it will take, we couldn't say yet, and we'll speak in collaboration, in conjunction with the others, but it's something I'll be open to.
You'll be open to.
On a personal note, I'll say this. When I ran and became an MP in 1994, I never knew what the salary was. I just took what I got.
Because you're a true servant, that's why.
Yeah, I wasn't motivated to be elected based on the salary. And I just accepted that. And frankly speaking, over the years, I've always had a difficulty in us parliamentarians determining our salaries when we are the ones who determine the increase for others. It's an awkward position, and I've always supported the position where some independent consultation. There was the Oliver Clark Commission, I recall, was set up by former Prime Minister Pattison, so that there's some insulation between us, so that we don't so much feed ourselves without any regard to the rest of the public, and to have some sort of independent intervention in it. That is the approach that I've always supported, because I've always found it very awkward to pronounce on my own compensation from the public purse. So prior to, I just accept what is provided, and whatever it was. When it was low, I accepted it. I never complained and seek to get any more. If it should be adjusted, my approach is use an independent body to approach to determine it.
Yeah, because I think that would go a long way with the people of Jamaica to say, look, we're gonna give back some of the salary. We're gonna roll it back. That's what I said, to roll it back to where I don't know, but roll it back to say, listen, we understand that civil service, it's not proper, it's not correct Doesn't look right for civil servants to get 20% and we get 300%. You know, it
No,
doesn't.
but and you know, and only that, you know, I remember when the exercise of the public servants were being done, and we asked the question. I for one had asked the question openly in Parliament: how is it that they're going to treat with the compensation for parliamentarians? And they shied away from providing any answer. And bear in mind that the government unilaterally did it and told the country, including the parliamentarians on the government side. They never consulted with us at all. We had no opportunity to make any input in the process, even though we had asked. And I personally had asked that in the parliament, not privately. And no one responded. And for the reason you just stated, Brother Radigan, if you should move it where it should move to, right? Those are mechanisms that have to be worked on, both in terms of fairness and also in terms of perception also. So I'm fully in support of that independent approach. And I am not the one who make the final pronouncement on it.
Last question for you. We have a short list of candidates for the DPP position. We have Miss Pike. We have the lady who was the acting. We have Jeremy Taylor, and there's one other person. Oh, Miss Kamika Prince. I think that's her name. Former corruption prosecutor over at the Integrity Commission. What are your thoughts on this? Because we know that you cannot have a DPP while you have a sitting DPP. So Ms. Paula Llewellyn would have to leave before they can insert somebody in that position. They've shortlisted, an election is coming. What do you think will happen?
It is an interesting question you asked. When I read the article about it a couple of days ago, I said, I know the current DPP limits office on the 21st of September. Because we happen to share birthdays. That's my birthday too. So it's easy to remember. The election is going to be on the 3rd of September. And I see the announcement where it appears as if the government is trying to take steps to finalize a selection before the election. Usually, and for my tenure in Parliament and following governance before, when you have the change of office close to an election, and even the United States, I think that's a convention until recently, or not so long ago, you don't make those changes, especially when they are not due before. The election is going to happen before the 21st. So I was curious in my mind. That's why I smiled when you raised the question, why there seemed to be a dead rush to settle that position before. Many argue is that, Jeffrey asked me about politicians who have been involved in some action that seems on the surface nefarious, whether people go to jail and so forth. We know in some jurisdiction, there are some accused persons like to choose their own judge. I wondered in my own mind if there's an attempt to choose their own prosecutors in these matters. Just this evening, I was also, a friend of mine advised me that there's a new chairman of the Housing Trust. 3 weeks before the election, there's a new chairman being inserted. And why these major appointments are taking place on the eve of a national election? A couple of presumptions are reasonable. The writing might be on the wall, and they are seeing it and what they want to do before the change. I don't see any government that is confident of victory is going to attempt to make major changes in government before the administration changes, before the election, sorry. So it's interesting to me, Brother Radigan, why those things are happening for the reasons I've shared. But it's interesting.
Member Jackson, there's a question in the chat room, and then I have to play this clip in here from Attorney at Law KD Knight, King's Counsel, veteran attorney, who is disputing, well, in other words, he's saying that what they said on stage at the Labour Party meeting is a blatant, pathologically mendacious thing that they said about him. But there's a question here in the chat room. The person is asking the question here. Bekwita asked Mr. Jackson, why is the Chinese getting away with so many things in Jamaica? Not paying any taxes for a few years, and then after their family members come and take over. What will the People's National Party do about it?
First of all, I have to establish the facts in that case. What obtained formally as against what the practices are. Because it is a fact that people breach laws and breach what the processes are. So it's the first establish what they are. But I would start there. I'm a bit reluctant to begin to pronounce and doing something about something when I don't know what the facts are. Okay. To the extent that there are legitimate concerns, it is something that we as a government will have to investigate, and we will do that. Because one thing we want to make sure is that there's an even level playing field for everyone that does business in Jamaica. And no Jamaican should be placed in a disadvantageous position because of favorable provisions for other nationalities that come in Jamaica. So that is our guiding principle: fairness and equity, and we'll ensure that the system that prevails on the part of government preserves that equity and fairness among all the players in business operations.
But majority of these foreign entity member Jackson believe that the Jamaican people came here by aeroplane and not by labor pain, sir. They treat them as if they're nothing. Anyway, that's another time for that question, sir, for you to answer that question. Are you want to answer it before you go?
No, but may I revert back to my initial comment, is that once you're operating a business here, everyone must be treated fairly. Okay. You know, let me just fairly. If a Chinese or Indian or Ghanaian or Nigerian come to Jamaica to settle as their new home of living and doing business, we want them to do their business successfully, but fairly, in much the same way that we in Jamaica, when we hear of our fellow Jamaicans go to the United States or the UK or Canada, we want them to be treated no less than the Canadians or the Americans treated in that country. If we want that for our people there, then we must prepare to extend that to others who come here. And that will be the guiding principle for us: fairness and equity across the board, regardless of where you're from.
Let me play this clip in here by former Senator and former Minister of National Security and former Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, King's Counsel KD Knight.
At their meeting on Sunday at 3:30, the Jamaica Labour Party, and in particular, Dr. Christopher Tufton, caused a recording to be played, purportedly, of me, KD Knight, speaking disparagingly of the leader of the People's National Party, Comrade Mark Golding. And I want to make it abundantly clear that it is a manipulated recording, that it is a lie, and that I have never, ever, neither publicly nor privately, ever made any comment that Mark Golding is unsuitable to be the Prime Minister of Jamaica. I have never said that and would never and could never, because that is not my belief. My fervent belief is that he will make an excellent Prime Minister, one who is honest, one who is reliable, one who, when he makes a declaration to any public body as to his assets and liabilities, will be accurate. And there will be no room for him to be questioned as to how he came by that which he has declared. I know that he could never be suspected of illicit enrichment. I know that he understands the problems that face the society, which need governmental intervention to fix. He has spearheaded a manifesto which deals with those issues. And so, far from saying that he must never be the Prime Minister of Jamaica, I am saying that I have worked with him and I am now working for him to be the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Dr. Tufton, you will hear from my lawyers because you have defamed me. And it is not that you have done anything that is not expected. Because when you and your party have reached this desperate position where you now are, the desperation that sets in will cause you to do as you did, resort to lies. And you do so on anyone, including anyone you think is a prominent member of the society, whose word means something to the people of Jamaica. You will try to use them, manipulate what they say to your benefit. Well, let me tell you something. I make it pellucid that I have every confidence in Mark Jefferson Golding to be the Prime Minister of Jamaica, and that I have been working in that regard to assist him to so become. You will hear from my lawyers, Dr. Tufton, because I've instructed them to leave no stone unturned to ensure that the lie that you were a party to publicizing on Sunday, that lie will be made clear to the people of Jamaica. Mark Jefferson Golding will be through the votes of the people of Jamaica, the Prime Minister, and I will be one of those voters, and I am one of his supporters to attain attain that post.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. This is Make We Talk breaking news. Wow, wow, wow. You hear from former Minister of National Security, former Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, and former Senator Katie Knight is sending a stern warning that there will be no stone left unturned to Dr. Tufton making that utterance at the JLP meeting last night. Your comment on that, Member Jackson?
Skinny said in that release, I'm not really surprised. The JLP sees the writing on the wall and desperation has set in. As I said, in my own constituency of South St. Catherine, we are seeing some practices of the JLP candidate never ever seen in that constituency for as long as I have been there. In fact, in none of the constituencies in Portmore. And it's because of the desperation. They see they're about to lose and they just want to turn the place upside down. Don't be surprised if you see more like those. That's part of the toolkit of the Jamaica Labour Party. And they are just being manifested day by day. And what KD has indicated, he will deal with it in the appropriate place and no doubt in the appropriate manner that it needs to be dealt with.
I want to say thanks to you, Member Fitz Jackson, one of the poor people, Member of Parliament in the Parliament of Jamaica, who continue fighting for the poor class of Jamaicans. It has been a pleasure having you on my platform, sir. I mean, like I beg and I try till I finally get you through, Mayor Scott.
No, I have to engage the services of counsel here to defend me because your plea was not so great, right? Once you mentioned in the presence of Mayor Scott that you wish to have me, I said to you, name the day. You not only named the day, but you also named the time. And you had me clear my diary to make sure that I made available. Yes, I wonder what sort of pleading that you're referring
to. and you know what? I'm pretty much sure Mr. Rattigan would love to have you on his platform one of these days to speak about the issues facing our island, Jamaica.
No, man. Rather speak with bigger people on his program, man. No, man. Don't do that to my friend at all. But rather, you know that I'm always available to you.
Admit to Mike Ratty.
I'm going to put that to the test, sir. You say you're always available. And the key word there is not available, is always. So.
I guess you say I walked into that one.
Yes, you walked into that one.
I plead. I did.
Member Fitz Jackson, I wish you all the best, sir, in your seat there in St. Catherine Southern. And I wish the People's National Party the best because the late Custis of Westmoreland, the Honorable James McLean Thompson, who helped to raise me, I'm pretty much sure he's smiling down along with Mommy Elita Thompson and others of the veterans of the People's National Party, smiling, looking down and smiling right now and said, yes, this is the way the party is going. This is the way that Jamaica must go. Member Fitz Jackson, thank you for coming on, sir.
Thank you. And lastly, I must say that not only South St. Catherine, we'll be having a trifecta in Portmore.
Yes.
South, East Central, and Southeast. Dr. Alfred Dawes in Southeast, and Raymond Price is in East Central, and myself in South St. Catherine. All three of us will intend to walk up Duke Street with Mark Golding as the new Prime Minister of Jamaica.
And my two girlfriends in St. Anne, Denishka Williams and
and Gabriella?
Yes. They're coming home too, man.
No, man. Two wonderful young ladies.
Yes.
With a deep passion of service to the people of this country. with dedication to a mission, to the mission of the People's National Party. I have worked with them, they have worked with me for a number of years in the past. And I can say they are substance.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just talking the good talk. What you hear from them really represent what they are. Really dignified young women with a passion of service and commitment to this country. And I wish for them success in their respective seats in St. Anne.
You know, member Jackson, the first time I heard Senator Gabriel spoke in the parliament, I played that speech about 3 times. And I said to myself, this is young Portia Simpson Miller.
Oh man, that young lady is exceptional. And she knows that too, because I don't stop reminding her. And you know, why I feel, you know, for me personally, I have more years behind me in the parliament than in front of me. And I am delighted that we're going to have new parliamentarians, young parliamentarians, like both of them coming into the parliament. And, you know, maybe I'm kind of seeing myself in them because I came into the parliament relatively young too, you know, at 35, going 36. And so I can relate to their entry at this stage as young parliamentarians and new parliamentarians. They will be. They will make us proud, both of party and country.
I remember telling Senator Morris, the Senator Gabi, that the People's National Party should use you in the sense of going out there and telling the young people. And I remember saying to her, you should run as a member of parliament. And she was like, no. And I got a call from her. I'm going to say it publicly. I know she's going to upset because I shouldn't say it publicly. I got a call from her one day. Happy as ever. Jeffrey, my friend, guess what? I am being put up to run as a member of parliament. I said, what? And I congratulated her. And I know that she's going to win as the MP for that area. And I know she's going to make us proud and make her country proud.
Indeed. I'm delighted in her. I've worked more closely. Well, I worked equally closely with both of them in different capacities. I worked with Danishka more on some party matters, particularly during my tenure as chairman. And she was one of those young persons who were a part of the team that I led at the secretariat, always willing and ready to go out there and engage the people and to promulgate the policies and aspirations of the People's National Party. I've able to serve with Gabriel. I say other hand in her selection to a senator back then, and I've just been inspired by their natural talents. So I'm excited about the future for both of them.
Oh yes, and I'm pretty much on election night right here in the Make We Talk program. We will be saying congratulations to Danishka Williams and Gabriela Morris. We will be saying that. Join us tomorrow for a live coverage of the People's National Party manifesto. I think it will be broadcast live from the Jamaica Pegasus. We will be bringing live on the Make We Talk program here to hear what is in the People's National Party manifesto at 7 p.m. Jamaica time. That's 8 p.m. US time. So the Make We Talk program will be coming to you live from the Jamaica Pegasus in Kingston, Jamaica, where the People's National Party will be presenting their manifesto. Member Jackson?
My pleasure.
Thank you, sir, for coming on. Mr. Rattigan?
Salute.
Yes, sir. Thank you all very much for coming on. May God bless you. And may God bless our island home, Jamaica land we love. Have a great afternoon, a great night, everybody. Good night.
Unity, strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represent yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affect the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it not help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represent yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affect the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it not help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represent yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affect the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it not help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength.
When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend. Make we talk.